Hello everyone and welcome to your tarot guidance for the week of July the 4th, 2022. Now before I begin the tarot channeling, I just have to say a couple of words about the energy and astrology of this week, which, at least the parts which can be expected. So right now we have an anaretic Mars, and that means outburst. That means either explosion, fire, our own psychological, neurological outburst, angry words, or moment of courage, moment of inspiration, moment of action, moment when, we just know that we need to do something or make a gesture, something like that. So, depending on what we, want to work with, the more positive or negative, destructive side of this energy. But either way, at the very beginning of the week, so today and tomorrow, things are gonna happen. Afterwards, we might have a moment of respite. We might have a moment when the energies tend to quiet down a little bit, giving us time to either process, reflect, contemplate, and for other people, try urgently their very, very hardest to fix their mistakes, to fix their really, really angry or bad gestures that they made today and tomorrow. And the rest of the week, well, there is a strong element of mystery and surprise there because with Mercury anaretic, Mars anaretic, Pallas Athena anaretic, Neptune, Saturn being in third decans of their respective signs. So this means that the energies are extremely, extremely karmic, even when they're not, if that even makes sense. So as I said, towards the middle of the week, the sky should not be as intensely karmic, at least for a couple of days, but with the third decan energies, they're still heavily karmic, regardless of what we do. So let's begin the tarot reading. I would like to ask for specific guidance this time from the Divine Mother, regardless of how you call her or how she appears in your culture, because at this time we do need peace, we do need serenity, we do need compassion, and we do need that kind of hope which only her can bestow upon us. No other spiritual being has her grace, has her love, has her human compassion, because divine compassion is not good enough this week because we're human beings. So this week we need the kind of compassion which once was human and understands our human hearts the best. So that means either the Divine Mother or her Divine Son and no one else. So anyway, first let's choose a couple of cards for world events. Because cardinal energy does equal world events. So the Five of Earth, and this is not the card I wanna see, but it still is. So the Five of Earth in this Oracle deck is kind of just like the Five of Coins in classical tarot. Just that this even has a rather optimistic side of it, because you see the guy or the image or the person in the image, well, they were warned that a storm, that winter or doom and gloom is coming, so they're actually quite comfortable, safe, protected, they're just waiting. But this person might be a lot of us, but that's absolutely fine, that's beautiful even, but that still means that around us there is gonna be storm. And chances are, whenever this specific oracle card appears for me personally in my readings, well, that kind of means, I'm not sure if you're able to look at the card very clearly, so I'll try to adjust the camera, but it's not really working. So whenever this card comes out for me, that means calamity. Either storm, either fire hazard, either flood or drought, or forest fire, or something bigger shaking things up like an earthquake. Then we also have the Two of Fire. That means war. That means that something happens in this conflict. There wants to be a victor, but there isn't a victor, if you know what I mean. So this is the phase where the war should be closing, but who is the winner? There is no winner, so that's why it's not closing. This is out of pride already. This isn't necessary. But that's absolutely fine because it triggers and angers the divine and the chariot, but in reversed. I know that in this oracle deck I don't want to use reversed. But anyway, the canoe, this is how it's called in this oracle deck, the canoe. So, yes, it's doom and gloom in a certain way. Yes, it's not quiet. Yes, it's calamities. Yes, and I'm so sorry to say this. People are gonna be hurt even physically under this energy. But for the divine and for Mother Nature, this is not doom and gloom. This is progress. This is a breath of fresh air. And I'm again so sorry to say this, but whenever our human world is under heavy disruption, especially our technology, communication, transport, a massive solar flare and a massive black spot on the sun formed facing Earth just now. So, this is where, regardless of how we want to spiritualize and philosophize this, the divine is angry at us. Let's just face it. Let's be honest with each other. So that's why that which is really bad and scary for us, fuel prices to a fire. And with 5 of Earth, let's be honest, fuel prices go up, food prices go up. Ceres being squared by which planet is... Oh, sorry, Eris. Yes, Ceres being squared by Eris. That means food disruption or food poisoning or problems with food on the world stage. So, it's not necessarily our individual lives, it's everywhere in the world. And then Ceres will oppose Pluto. Again, food. Again, families are being disrupted. Again, centralized power is abusing something. Ceres. And Ceres and Pluto have a history together in mythology. Persephone and her daughter, Demetra, Ceres, and her daughter Persephone, and their relationship with Pluto. Well, this is where this story is highlighted in the heavens. So what does this say? Well, when Demetra is upset, winter comes, drought comes, famine comes, human misery and sorrow comes. And the power player, the mythological figure, so to speak, who has a very strong talent and a sixth sense to upset Demetra the most, that's Pluto. Now, of course that this celestial conversation is not rare whatsoever, but 2022 is rare, is very rare, So let's hope Demetra is not going to be that very much upset. The Justice. This is where we will see the stuff happening in international courts of justice, and chances are the Temperance, but Temperance reversed. Now what does that mean? Doctors. You were supposed to be healing us, but you didn't. And this also means the COVID might return. And I don't want to be the harbinger of doom. It's not the COVID in itself, the virus, that returns, but the illusionary aspect of that. So the restrictions and all the injustice, but this time it's gonna be met with violence from the people. So we'll see what injustice wants to take place this week on the world stage. Let's even forget this. And the only reason why I did a collective part of this reading and not just guidance how I should, because this is where they want to do things and we should be aware of their hidden intent. Because their hidden intent is not destined. And the very reason why I'm actually so against this is because there was a period when I wasn't against this, where I said, well, I'm just a simple mystic and free will, everyone has to believe and trust what they want. I have no position to even suggest anything. But then again, the vaccine killed my mom, so that changed everything. They killed my mom. Can you imagine? So, no, I'm not gonna shut up. Anyway, that passed, so let's see individually what the guidance is. So the High Priestess, exactly the card depicting the Divine Mother herself. Because the Divine Mother has always been closely linked to the moon. And the High Priestess is the moon. And the Cancer, and the Mother. And the King of Pentacles. Well, this means that the material situation and where things are going financially outside. What does mean? In our city, in our town, in our local community, in our country, internationally, in Europe, in America, everywhere. So the financial trend is not very bright, so to speak. But with the High Priestess, this says, no. We, those who basically embrace our souls, the High Priestess, our intuition, our unconscious, our inner world, even the darker side of it. Absolutely. This isn't about polarity, this is about what's inside of us and what animates us. Well, we might not have anything to worry about in the sense that we're infinitely, incredibly wealthy energy wise, vibration wise, and surprise, surprise, this week and in the weeks that follow, vibration is gonna be the currency, which gets us things, which gets us what we want. And why not forever? Because this is just a small window of opportunity of how we are gonna be living after 2026 or after 2030, depending on each and every astrologer's or mystic's personal opinion. But this is a taster that maybe in the world of tomorrow, and tomorrow which is just around the corner, it's not money that's gonna buy us things. It's something so unique and specific about us, which reveals what we've done in our lives, but in any way, shape, and form. That's basically our vibration, that's our frequency, that is our key tone of who it is that we are. And if the component of that is 80% love, just like 80% or more of our physical bodies is water, well then we should not really worry that the world around us is collapsing. This is what the Divine Mother wants to suggest. This is the period when your faith is stronger than even a missile, but not literally. This is just like an analogy. This is where your faith, your intuition, your inner world, love in your heart, love for your child, love for your dog, love for your cat, love for your husband, love for your wife, love for anyone, that neighbor, your crush, whatever, that is the sheer strength that you possess this week. The Four of Cups. Now, I know that a few people, but to me it seems a lot, because it's more than two. Myself and 2-3 other people who are connected and who watch my channel as well, we've been receiving in our own special, unique way, kind of self-fulfilling prophecy where the theme was Cinderella, the Cinderella story. And maybe this week, for those people who have been divinely synchronized with Cinderella, may that be seeing the story on TV, YouTube channel, or Cinderella synchronicity just bombarding you. Well, this week is gonna be a big step towards that. Maybe it's not necessarily the part where the slipper fits and you're already at your wedding. Maybe this is the part where the prince, but of course symbolically speaking, is hell bent on searching you anywhere and will turn every house, every stone in their kingdom to find you. And this is more the case if you're an artist or are public, the Three of Cups. Divine inspiration, but the Seven of Wands. Okay, Cinderella story, divine guidance, your faith, your dreams, you're protected and all of that, that's absolutely fine. but you will have a massive fight this week. An energetic fight. Fight for valor. Fight for your principle. Stand up for yourself. Fight for your self-worth. Fight for your purity. Fight for that which you imperatively know. For example, fight against BS. But if you do it with valor, if you do it with dignity and purity, trusting in the power of love, and that love is above karma in the sense that it can make it work instantly, then you'll be doing something very, very significant and important this week. And note that the personal cards, not even one is reversed. Yeah, the Ace of Swords reversed. So this means an unexpected twist and turn of events. Now, this isn't either bad or good, this is just a big surprise, and this is confirmed by the stars, because we do have at the very end of the week the Sun speaking sextile with Uranus. Surprise, surprise. But it can be the most delightful surprise because it's sextile. So this guidance is, there is going to be an unexpected twist and turn, but do not make any choice right there and then. Allow it to sink in, because you need to see the positive side of whatever that twist and turn is. But the surprise itself, the suspense of the moment, the shock, so to speak, even if it's not a big shock, it's just a big surprise where it just gets you out of your normality. Allow it to sink in and then decide if it's good or bad for you. Just take it as a surprise as it is. And the Prince of Cups reversed. This is where you're solo, but that's the best possible thing, because it means no one can influence you. Not even best friend, not even... no one. And... wow. This might actually be a good week for some people, because Wheel of Fortune. Wheel of Fortune always means it's time for Ten of Swords reversed. You're not running away from this. You wanted to, and you're not sure of yourself, you're not brave, but you're still not running away from this, because some completion, something is falling into place this week for a lot of people individually, and this is guarded even by the Divine Feminine. Why Divine Feminine? Cancer energy. The Holy Mother, okay, but that's also Sirius, the fixed star Sirius, Isis in the sign of Cancer, so it's Isis energy. It's Hecate energy, it's lunar energy, so the Divine Feminine at her finest, including the darker side, Black Moon Lilith in the sign of Cancer. So it's both the dark feminine, but this is where dark feminine is always needed. But dark feminine has to take off her corrupted skin, where dark is okay, unholy, where you defy and insult life and sanctity of life. Now that's when the Divine Feminine is gonna be crushed much quicker than the Divine Masculine, because at least the Divine Masculine is sheer stupid, but if the Divine Feminine is smart enough to know what she's doing and she accepts it, then her karmic role is 10 times more severe, if you know what I mean. So, a lot of history is not really as we were told. It was never ever a shift between matriarchy and patriarchy and a war between the two. No, they were always hand in hand. They were always best mates. They were always washing each other's hand. So both of them are just as guilty. It was never ever about male or female. It was always about just people. People are people, both women and female and male and any gender you want. People are people. So the Divine Feminine and Masculine were always hand in hand with one another, both for good and for bad. So, You know, the battle of the sexes is something so outdated now that not even energies and feminists and masculinists and patriarchs and matriarchs can keep it in existence because it's outdated. We're in the same boat. So where I'm going with this is Black Moon Lilith has to work overtime to shed off her bad skin, to shed off her corruption that makes her incompatible in the world of the future. But if Black Moon Lilith doesn't have compatibility in the future, can we reproduce at all? If you know what I mean. So every single planet and every single energy has to step into the future, so become its own purest and most refined version. So that means that every planet will shed off its darker side. And if this doesn't make sense, so let me give you an example. Jupiter. Does Jupiter have a darker side? Yes. Jupiter's darker side is fake promises, or grandiose promises, or having to do extreme things just to keep your promise. All of this has to be shed off because this leads to mistrust. So Jupiter is the planet of mistrust as well, in a very bad combination, of course. Or Venus. Venus has so many dark sides, more than positive, if that even makes sense. Venus can be so very jealous that it can turn even love into something highly toxic. But Venus and most of the other planets have completed their purification cycle. So they're at their most beautiful and refined self. Like, let me give you another example. Mercury. Mercury is the ruler of thieves, of corrupted doctors. Mercury is the planet who actually rules allopath. I don't know how to say this in English. So traditional medicine where we cut out organs and stuff like that. And we drug ourselves with something which nature and the human body did not create. So Mercury rules that. So Mercury can be a criminal at certain degrees, at certain aspects, at certain configurations, much more so than Pluto or any other of the big power players, if you know what I mean. So where I'm going with this is the planets and their symbols are also getting purified, not just as people. So you can imagine that darkness has a lot of work on its hands because it doesn't want to purify, it wants to stay the same, but it can't. So it's fighting its last struggle, but its powers are 10 million times stronger than they have ever been because, it has to survive, it has to fight for itself somehow, so it draws all its strength, while light has so much healing work on its hand that it cannot stay concentrated, so it's up to us. So, another final message. Yeah, the King of Wands reversed. The King of Wands reversed tells us, keep calm, let's keep our tempers low as possible. Let's just try to be as peaceful, as, balanced and temperanced as possible, because that will get us a long way this week. So thank you everyone for listening. Thank you for being here. If you'd like to support my work, you can donate on the PayPal link in the description below. With this being said, I'm wishing everyone blessings from the Divine Mother, and may compassion and may the virtue of mercy never ever die from your heart. Thank you again. Until next time, bye for now.